Have I watched Andor? No. I just don't care about Star Wars. I'm sorry, guys. Honest to God, at this point, I dislike Star Wars so much that I might dislike Andor even if it's good. You know what I mean? Like, Star Wars is just too corny. It'd be like watching another Marvel flick. It literally has Marxist speeches in it. See, I don't care. Why do you care? You're a liberal. Why? I'm not going to watch something like, oh, this is so pog. It's like left-leaning. I don't care if media's left-leaning. I watch it if it's good, you know? Breaking Bad level writing. You should catch a ban for that. There's no way Andor is written to the level of Breaking Bad. Are you kidding me? Come on. Come on. Do you at least like the Star Wars Expanded Universe? No. I think the main thing that bothers me about Star Wars is that in basically all the media of it I've seen, I feel like there's no lore. There's no real world building. It's just like thing here, thing there. I never feel like there's a coherent world or universe, I guess, or galaxy, I guess. Or it can be like, oh yeah, these are like distinct, you know? It's like, oh, the Empire does this, the First Order does this. Are there any geopolitical ramifications, or I guess geo-universal, or no, galactic political ramification? I don't know. It just feels, it's like space fantasy, which is fine, but I like space fantasy for like rip-roaring adventure, not for here's the gigantic expanded universe. I don't give a shit, dude. You're telling me canonically there's a planet of guys who all have 3 ball sacks? I don't care. That's crazy. Wow. I just don't care. I haven't described what I wanted, Benjamin. Vosh, when the world is actually a galaxy and has entire planets too big to fully comprehend. I'm the world builder. Tatooine is a desert planet. Even though Earth is a planet that has like 57 biomes across it, this is a desert planet. Naboo is like a jungle planet. Coruscant is a city planet. Yeah, I know it's basically not possible to have a city that's across the entire planet because there's absolutely no way you could sustain the supply lines with no, like, proportion. No, it doesn't matter. It's a city planet, and it's all clean. Every building is 1 mile tall. Do you ever see any cleaning of it? No, just, it's like that. That's just what it looks like. It's like, again, it's space fantasy, but that's just not my shit. It's cool. Like, there's nothing wrong with it necessarily. It's just kind of like, in a lot of ways, it's just a little bit like 40K without the self-awareness sometimes, you know what I mean? Like, they know they're playing it up silly when they're like, yeah, this is the Cathedrala Terra, the battleship the size of a moon, that has, like, the basilica on top of it, you know? But at least it's self-aware. You'd probably like the Expanse books. Now, that is what I have heard that. I have heard that. Also hate how nothing can happen without the Force or some other shit. Dude, like, you're gonna defend the world building of the midichlorian universe? Yeah, man, it's like things in your blood. Okay. Alright. And what the fuck are the gray Jedi? Is the Force mystical or not? Is it like, does it have a moral center or not? And if it doesn't have a moral center, why can evil and good Jedi do different things? I'm sure there's like a billion paragraphs of lore on Wikipedia for why this does or doesn't work, but I don't really care, to be honest with you. I don't know if Grey Jedi were ever canon. Aren't they in the Expanded? I don't know. I don't know. Gay Jedi? Well, that is canon. Yeah, I'm not defending modern Star Trek either, to be clear. Like, there's this line about Bothan spies from the OT, and they're like, oh, well, there's this entire planet whose entire race and culture is oriented around spycraft. Yeah, Star Trek does that too, but it really bothers me whenever it's like, oh, this is a planet of X. You know, Earth has like 6,000 languages that are spoken, right? Like, not more than 6,000. Like, and then it's like, we go to a new planet. This planet's deal is this, the race that's on there is this, and they speak this language. What the f do you mean? There's no human alive who understands the totality of, like, Earth culture, because there is no such thing, you know? Like, how are you gonna be like, they're always like, we're landing on X planet, not X country and X planet, you know? Shouldn't every planet be broken up into like 57 different countries or states or whatever? I know this is like meaningless bickering. It's just, if you're gonna get me involved in like a universe of lore, this is the kind of stuff that I like to think about. And the reason why 40K is interesting to me in spite of this is because it's deliberately satirical. Like, you're playing up on the kind of like galactic fascist power trope fantasy sort of thing, you know, which I like. At least there's something to grab into there. Why do other planets have to be similar to ours? They're just always dissimilar in ways that make them really boring, you know? They're always really dissimilar in ways that that don't It just makes it like boring and simple. Do you like Mass Effect? I haven't played it, but I know that I wouldn't like it just by looking at it. Just read Discworld. Why are you guys all so obsessed with me liking the media that you like? I blame Dune for the one biome planet trope, but at least Dune did it well. Dune did it extremely well. The whole series of Dune is about the fact that Dune is the climate of Dune. Like that, it's not just like one planet out of a million. Yeah, this is the desert planet. Like it commits to that fully. Warhammer 40k main Earth planet still Earth, and it's better for it. Actually, it's called Terra. Thank you, and it's a Hive world now. Thank you. It's crazy how much people care about you liking the media they like. I don't know, man. Just play Disco Elysium. Do you think the Fremen are a negative Arab/Muslim stereotype? I mean, they're they're not necessarily negative. The point of the story is basically, like, it's all meant to be kind of an allegory of Middle Eastern colonialism to an extent, right? But it's not really negative. The Fremen are backwards and primitive relative to the Imperial forces. But the Imperial forces are terrible, you know? Yeah, I would say they're a neutral stereotype. You know what I mean? Like, they're obviously a stereotype, and they're pointing to something, but it's not really well, if you read the original Dune books, there's a lot of weird stuff in there, which, again, this was written in like a fever dream haze, like 60 years ago. So you have to acknowledge there's going to be a little bit of a cultural divide between then and now. Like, a lot of these, apparently, Frank Herbert didn't even, like, edit some of this. Like, a lot of Dune was being thrown out there almost, like, chapter by chapter with very little, you know what I mean? Like, we respect it. It's literally canon that the Bene Gesserit used fake religious propaganda to keep the Fremen from developing a culture. Yeah, for sure. It's definitely, like, Frank Herbert was definitely, in some ways, like, a little problematic, but there is a lot of thought put into the way things develop, I guess, you know? There's got to be some people who have only watched the movies and who still think that Paul is, like, a white savior archetype, you know what I mean? Like, damn, man. Dune's problematic as f. I can't believe they have, like, a white guy from a foreign culture showing up and saving the Fremen. You know who else can't believe it? I can't believe it. I can't believe it at all. I don't believe it. Didn't Grimes say she believed her son would be this world's Paul Atreides? Don't worry, it's Grimes. She doesn't know what she's talking about. But yeah, that does sound like something she would say. Do I confirm it? No, I don't know. But it does sound like something she would say. Could you ever get into something as wacky as the Transformers universe? No. I'm sorry. The Transformers universe is like all of the corny, stupid world building of anime, but like dumber because they were trying to sell toy. I don't know, man. That's like some Bionicle shit, but more embarrassing. It's like Bionicles, but they all read Shakespeare. It's so goofy. Sorry, I didn't grow up on Transformers, and the only way you would care about Transformers is growing up on Transformers. You know what I mean? Like, that's some shit you have to be indoctrinated into early. You have to get into that really early when your cringe defenses haven't, like, risen up to protect you. I heard the new comics are great. I'm not saying all media from the franchise is bad. I'm only saying that the franchise is fundamentally goofy. And you can't take that away. Now that you're burning all the bridges, can you say why you hate Pokemon? I would actually like Pokemon more if there was any effort put into the world building. Again, pardon me, I know it's like a game series designed for 4-year-olds, and you all are just like locked in on it because you're desperately trying to relive the time before you hit puberty and you cared about things other than like getting the shiny. But in addition to them being bad games, which is objectively true, you know, the totally inconsistent world building makes me not really care, I guess. Like, maybe this is just a build different kind of thing, or maybe this is just my personal autism, but if I'm engaging with any series like that, I guess I kind of want to think about it in a way that's cool, or there's like ramifications. Like, if there's a thing that happens, I want to think like, oh, wow, that's actually pretty cool given the context of the story that I'm aware of thus far. I actually think that's really awesome. But like, you can't get that in Pokemon because shit just happens, man. Stop with the condescension. No. Vosh fans, when Vosh talks about the things they like, the way he talks about everything else. You can't talk about that way. Even Tempest is in on it. Every time you talk about Pokemon, I die a little inside. Listen, the world building, shit, okay? And you might like the multiplayer elements. As I understand it, competitive Pokemon is actually pretty hardcore. But, like, there's a reason why if you actually play the games, you can beat every single one of them by finding, like, the one good Pokemon from the starter region and only using them for every fight. and then you go up against the elite whatever at the end of the game, and they're level 97, or you're level 97 with the one Pokemon, and they're level like 60, and then you win with the one ability that does all their health every time, you know. Have you touched Kingdom Hearts? Are you guys like teeing me up to burn every media bridge right now? Why are you asking me for my opinion on shit that's ass? Why can't you ask me for my opinion on shit that's not ass? Like, what do you mean? I asked you about Andor Bridge. You asked me about Star Wars, Benjamin.